Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in their sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, we take item numbered 5, correction of votes and proceedings, and official reports. And we have before us the vote and proceedings of Tuesday, 30th June 2026 for correction, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, and 14. Honourable members, in the absence of any correction in the vote and proceedings of Tuesday, 30th June 2026 is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, let's turn to the official report of Tuesday, 23rd June 2026. Honourable members, the official report is before you for correction. Any correction? Yes, Frank Afriye.
Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity. Speaker, please permit me to draw your kind attention to something very minor but significant. It has to do with the capturing of the member for Proceedings at column 12, the 3rd paragraph. The Honorable Haji Aladi Ayi Ayamba belongs to the NDC in this house, as is captured. A different political persuasion has been attributed to her. Thank you.
Table office kindly take note. Any further correction? Honourable members, in the absence of any further correction, the official reports of Tuesday, 23rd June 2026 is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have an urgent question for the Minister for Food and Agriculture. But before the Minister does that, I crave your indulgence for us to lay a number of papers, itemized 8A, B, C, and D. Then we can go back to question time. Indeed, if possible, we can even do E, F, and even G. We have the Minister for Transport who is here and can lay all those papers on behalf of all the ministers who are supposed to be laying papers this morning.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we can proceed.
Very well. Honour members, at commencement of public business, presentation of papers. Item numbered 8A. Minister for, very well. Yes, the 8A is Majority Leader.
Okay. Budget performance report in respect of the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the period January to December 2025.
Honourable members, the report has been presented. It is referred to the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs for consideration and report. Item numbered 8B.
Budget performance report in respect of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources for the period January to December 2025.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources for consideration and report. Item numbered 8C.
Budget performance report in respect of the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture for the period January to December 2025.
Honourable members, report has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs for consideration and report. Item numbered 8D.
Budget performance report in respect of the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs for the period January to December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Adan District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Karachi Inchumuru District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Tano North Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Shai Osudoku District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Brekum West District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the South Town District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Biakoye District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Asante Achim Central Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Karachi South Municipal Assembly for the year ended Akachi South Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Budget performance report in respect of the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs for the period January to December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Guan District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Adenta Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Hohwe Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Denchemboa District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honourable members, the item numbered 8D at page 4 of the order paper from I to XVI, that is 1 to 16, are all duly presented and referred to the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development for consideration and report. Yes, item numbered 8E.
Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the TDC Ghana Limited for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Works and Housing for consideration and reports. Item numbered 8F. We will take the I and II together.
Budget performance report in respect of the Office of Attorney General and Ministry of Justice for the period January to December 2025. Budget performance report in respect of the legal aid for the period January to December 2025.
Honourable members, item numbered 8F, I, and II are all duly presented, and they are referred to the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs for consideration and report. Item numbered G. We are also taking the I and II together.
Budget performance report in respect of the Ministry of Transport for the period January to December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Driver and Vehicle License Authority for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honourable members, the item numbered 8G have been duly presented and they are referred to a Committee on Roads and Transportation for consideration and report. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we may now revert to question time and take the urgent question. Mr. Speaker, the Minister for Agriculture is not available, so I crave your indulgence, subject to agreement with my colleagues opposite, for the Deputy Minister for Agriculture to answer the question.
Yes.
Speaker, there should be no objection to that.
Honourable members, the Minister for Food and Agriculture is scheduled to respond to an urgent question. His able Deputy Minister is here, and by consensus, will give him the floor. He has already taken the designated seat, and I will call on Honorable Sanja Nanja, Member of Parliament for Atebubu Amantin, to pose the urgent question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to ask the Minister for Food and Agriculture the immediate mitigation measures the Ministry is putting in place to support maize and beans farmers in Atebubu Amantin to enable them to cultivate these crops before the July-August 2026 cropping season comes to an end, as the farmers did not get market for last year's harvest. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as part of the Feed Ghana program, government made it a priority to cut down the cost of production to farmers. And the ministry has since begun implementing nationwide gratis input distribution for the 2026 major cropping season. This intervention is to ensure that farmers receive quality product inputs on time to enable them to complete planting within the current cropping season. The increased production recorded in recent seasons, whilst demonstrating the success of government's agricultural interventions, has in some instances resulted in localized market surpluses, reduced farm gate prices, and reduced returns to farmers. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry is working closely with the National Food Buffer Stock Company to strengthen the purchases and marketing of locally produced grains as a short-term remedy on reports received on marketing challenges at the beginning of the year by the government. Consequently, the Ministry directed NAFCO to intensify the purchase of surplus maize, rice, and soya beans from farmers. With the active support and engagement, particularly from the Bono East Regional Minister, NAFCO has currently deployed and commissioned buyer agents in the Atebubu-Amantin district to buy grains from the farmers for the company. Additionally, as part of government's efforts to add value to grains produced, Atebubu-Amantin is one of the beneficiary districts where a private partner company is in the process of securing equipment to install, to process and add value to these grains, including maize for export and local consumption in 5 grain production districts. When these facilities are fully installed, it will provide opportunity for mopping up farmers' grains after harvesting in Atebubu-Amantin and the 4 other districts. Mr. Speaker, these interventions are expected to cushion farmers against price volatility, improve farm incomes, and restore confidence in the agricultural production. They would also strengthen the government's or the country's strategic food reserves, enhance national food security, and ensure adequate food stocks for emergency situations, including natural disasters, pandemics, and other unforeseen disruptions. The Ministry remains committed to working with all stakeholders to ensure that farmers in Atebubu-Amantin and across the country receive the necessary production and marketing support to sustain agricultural growth, improve their homes, and contribute to Ghana's food security objectives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, any supplementary question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I want to know from the Minister if the distribution of the inputs has already begun.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the distribution of the inputs has begun. We've so far distributed some of the inputs through the district assemblies, and that is currently ongoing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Yes, please. What was the modality for selecting beneficiaries?
What are the modalities for selecting
beneficiaries of the inputs?
Very well.
Mr. Speaker, the modalities are through cooperatives. And so if we come to Atebubu-Amantin, the modalities will be through the cooperatives. So if you have rice growing farmers, if you have tomatoes, if you have maize, if you have beans growing farmers, those are the beneficiaries. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Mr. Speaker, no other further question except to thank the Minister for his comprehensive answers.
Yes, honourable members, this is urgent constituency-specific question. On this note, yes.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, if you look at the last part of the question, it says farmers did not get market for last year's harvest. So I want to find out from the Honourable Minister whether they are putting any arrangements in place to compensate farmers who did not get market for their produce.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister didn't say that. It is the person asking the question who said that. The person asking the question, he is alleging that farmers didn't get, patronage for. I'm saying that the person asking the question is the one alleging that farmers did not get patronage for their produce last year. So you cannot ask the minister that question. That's my position on the matter.
Speaker, the leader should hasten cautiously. There is nowhere in the orders that permit him to stand instead of the minister. The question is directed at the minister. Speaker, he has no locus. You can only object where any of the orders have been breached. Speaker, from order 89 to all the way to 88, none of those provisions has been breached. He should please allow the minister to answer, and the minister is eager.
Honorable
the minister
members,
is ready to answer the question.
Is anything about this question talking about compensation?
Speaker, I'm not in the position to respectfully answer your question. But I'm only.
We all owe fidelity to the standing orders. So
Speaker,
if you ask a supplementary question, which supplementary question does not emanate from the original question as stated in Standing Order 89-1, any member at all can object.
Speaker, if you may listen to me. In the first place, the member who sought to ask a follow-up question, I was surprised you allowed him anyway, because I had a couple of questions to ask, but I thought it was constituency specific.
I indeed indicated that
Yes.
this is a constituency specific.
Speaker, but you permitted him.
But knowing his position
Yes.
as a ranking member
Yes.
also
Yes.
on food and agriculture, I
Yes.
choose to give him the
Yes.
floor to ask the question.
Speaker,
But the
when he-
question that I asked, there is no aspect that is talking about a compensation. If you want to ask a question relating to a compensation of farmers in any circumstances or whatsoever, you ask a direct specific question. Because this one is talking about measures the ministry is putting in place to support maize and beans farmers in Atebubu, Amantin, to enable them cultivate these crops before the July-August 2026 cropping season comes to an end, as the farmers did not get market for last year's harvest. So it doesn't talk about any issue relating to compensation. You see, the essence is that if there is a question relating to compensation, then the minister can speak to the agencies under him, take the issue, the answers from the agency, and come and brief the House. Supplementary questions are not to take the minister by surprise. So you all agree with me that the issue under consideration hasn't got to do with payment of compensation.
Yeah, with respect, probably I heard and I know he is a senior member of the House, and Speaker, I must commend you for allowing him to speak. But for the benefit of doubt, Speaker, maybe we should listen to him again. He might probably make the point which will fit into the...
Very well.
My worry is the majority leaders coming in to shield the minister. He should stop shielding
I have
the
not
minister.
taken it to be shielding the
Yes, we all owe
minister.
fiduciary to the orders,
The
for
minister.
the orders to be respected.
So,
but the way he's shielding the minister...
what you are doing, does it mean the member who asked the question is not capable and you are shielding him? You understand? So that is a wrong impression being created. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, he ought to withdraw the claim that I'm shielding minister. We all owe fidelity to the rules. And so if you ask a question that doesn't fit into the permissible space that the rule make provision for, I am at liberty to raise an objection. So to state that, you know, I'm shielding minister, so that immediately we finish, your social media handlers will put out all sorts of videos out there suggesting that the ministers who appear are not capable. The minister is actually begging me to allow him to answer the question. But I'm saying that if we start breaching the rules today, tomorrow we will have to continue breaching the rules. I know of several instances where in this chamber, the Speaker has insisted that supplementary questions must flow from the original answers given by the minister. So my argument is that there's an allegation made by somebody asking a question. Now you are assuming that that is a fact, and you are now proceeding on that assumption to ask the minister a question. I'm saying that the minister didn't make that statement. He didn't say that, farmers are not getting market for their produce. So why are you asking him a follow-up question on the basis of an assumption that the minister has not, accepted?
Speaker, I am a gentleman. I have no hesitation withdrawing a statement that has turned out to be offensive. So, to the majority leader, unreservedly, a statement of he shielding the minister is withdrawn. But Speaker, I will also further make an application to you, which I did earlier, that you allow the member to reframe or rephrase his question. I'm sure that probably will put clarity to what he was seeking from the minister, and then the question of whether it fits into the orders or not may not arise.
Very well, you can rephrase.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, the question the Honorable member asked was the various measures being put in place by the ministry to mitigate the challenges farmers went through in his constituency. And I'm asking the minister whether compensation to farmers who were unable to sell their produce, whether compensation is part of the measures being taken by the government to address those. Yes.
With all due respect, based on Standing Order 89-1, the question is overruled. Yes, Honorable Minister. On this note, we thank you sincerely for attending upon the House to respond to the urgent questions available for you. You are discharged. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have two commemorative statements. Two statements have been advertised for today. We should take that before the commemorative statements. Mr. Speaker, I have conferred with my colleagues opposite, and we are at idem that we would rather take the agreements of the transport minister so that we can relieve him to go and pursue other businesses whilst we remain, and then take the commemorative statements afterwards.
Very well. Before doing that, let me announce or acknowledge the presence of students in our midst. We have Medina 1 Junior High School, led by Veronica Blankson, a teacher from Medina, they numbered 51. Then we have St. Mary Girls Senior High School, led by Samuel K. Bauer, a teacher. They are from Asante Akim Centra, they numbered 81. Then we have Krachi Nchumuru cluster of schools, led by Emmanuel Frimpong. Team leader, they are from Krachi Nchumuru, they numbered 52. Then we have OVC Connections Ghana, led by Eric Amano Mpianim, National Coordinator. They are from Adentan constituency, they numbered 12. We also have Madina 3 Junior High School, led by Adum Ishram Maunyo, head teacher from Madina, they numbered 60. Honourable members, on behalf of the House, I welcome all of them to Parliament of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. Please kindly resume your seats. Yes, leader, we are taking which motion? Motion numbered
15.
Yes. Minority Chief Whip. We are to take the minister's motion starting from 15.
But Speaker, motion number 15 is advertised in the name of the chairman, not the minister.
Yes,
So
but
we can
he
proceed.
has to move the consequential resolutions. So that's why.
Speaker, it's fine. We can proceed.
Yes, yes. Honourable members, motion numbered 15 at page 7 of today's order paper.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the Bilateral Air Service Agreement, BASA, between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Minister of Transport, and the Government of the Republic of Benin, relating to the establishment of air services. Right Honourable Speaker, in doing so, I beg to submit your report, the committee's report, and I respectfully request the hazard section to capture the entirety of the report, whilst I concentrate on the latter part of it being the conclusion. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee noted that the agreement establishes a comprehensive and balanced framework for regulating and promoting air transport relations between the Republic of Ghana and the Republic of Benin. Right Honourable Speaker, it safeguards the sovereign rights of both states while granting designated airlines the opportunity to operate agreed services on a fair and transparent condition. The agreement provides mechanisms of dispute resolution, ensures compliance and domestic laws, and protects the financial viability of international operations. It also promotes sustainable air connectivity, trade, tourism, and economic cooperation, while aligning with the regional and continental initiatives such as the Yamoussoukro Decision and Single African Air Transport Market, SATAM, by embedding clear procedures for amendment, oversight, and consultations. The agreement remains adaptable to evolving diplomatic and operational realities. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee therefore recommends to the House to adopt this report and ratify by resolution the bilateral air service agreement between the Republic of Ghana and the Republic of Benin in accordance with Article 75(2)(b) of the 1992 Constitution and Order 145 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, respectfully submitted.
Honourable members, motion numbered 15 heavily moved, and the report presented. Any seconder?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. In doing so, the report was referred to the Joint Committee of Trade and Foreign Affairs. So, Mr. Speaker, your committee looked at the detail of the agreement. Your committee looked at the detail of the air service agreement between Ghana and Benin. Mr. Speaker, I want to submit that major critical issues were factored and considered. Mr. Speaker, that the committee looked at the terms and reference of the agreement. And I must state on record that, Mr. Speaker, it's another avenue to help the country rake in some funds and resources, to help the government to undertake a lot of the developmental projects it's envisaged to undertake, particularly the expansion of the airport, Terminal 2 airport, or linking the Terminal 2 and the Terminal 3 together. So this is an avenue to raise funds for us. Mr. Speaker, it is also important that the withdrawal clause was also highlighted, that at any point in time when the two countries, or particularly Ghana, notice that there is any breach in the terms and conditions or the agreement, we are at liberty to withdraw from the agreement we are having, or from the air service agreement with, Benin. Mr. Speaker, I also want to commend the ministry for putting together a very lucid report that encapsulates every detail of the agreement that was discussed at the committee level. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I would also urge the House to support, to adopt the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you too. Very good contribution. Yes. Yes, Honorable Kobe Ochirako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are grateful to the committee for such a simple report and supporting this ratification. Mr. Speaker, you come to realize that this report talks about strengthening air service regulation, promotion of fair competition and commercial opportunities, and effective dispute resolution. And I believe that these are some of the key things that we need to do. Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest challenges we tend to have in Africa is that this bilateral air service agreement should now be expanded to actually operationalize the single Africa air transport system. Because if you look at the regulation in particular, anytime Ghana gives a license to say an operator, it means that another country will have to give the same licensing again to the same operator. That making the cost of doing business in Africa, especially in the air service space, very expensive. Ghana, in Africa, we know that we travel per capita more than even Nigeria, even though they have large population. And our ability to be signing a lot of these bilateral air service agreements and ratifying them in Parliament position us very well to be able to service the rest of Africa. And I believe that we have to position ourselves with a lot of these agreements so that Ghana can play a major role in the air service space. If we take the Kotoka International Airport right now, if you look at the Northern Apron, work has actually resumed. If you take the new airport headquarters, is being done, which gives way for Terminal 1 and Terminal 3 to be linked. And when it is linked, it means that we can service the ECOWAS market or the local African market better than we've been doing. But irrespective of all these agreements, Mr. Speaker, what can position Ghana more is our ability to establish our own airline, either as a country or in partnership with other countries. And I believe that is something that the minister would have to push very vigorously to get it done. I know a lot of other ministers sometimes don't support this agenda and other persons, but I believe that if we take the way Ethiopia has been able to develop their aerospace program, if we take the way Egypt have been able to do it, if Ghana positions very well and do same, in fact, when it comes to employment alone, we should be able to be generating in terms of 10,000s and the rest for our young men and women. And I believe that signing these bilateral agreements should get the support of all members of parliament so that we can do this today and sign more so that Ghana can position as a major hub for the aviation industry in Africa. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, let's support the minister.
Yes, Honorable Richard Achampo.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to support your committee's report and then help the House to ratify the agreement presented to us by the Transport Minister. Mr. Speaker, we need to support this agreement so that we can generate more revenue in terms of air traffic activities. If you refer to page 7 of the document, item 7.3, they've talked about the cargo volumes and then the passenger throughput and all that. So if you're able to develop it, many people will travel to the country. In terms of taxes and the rest, you get more revenue. I made a point last 2 weeks or so, Mr. Speaker. Apart from Accra International Airport, all our airports are making losses. Sunyane, Kumasi, because of the volume of traffic over there. So if you take off Accra International Airport, the rest, they're not even breaking even. So we thank God that the NDC government made that investment, building the Terminal 3. Many people are patronizing the airport. So if we want to expand it and want to sign all these agreements, it will help many people to visit the country. They'll pay taxes and will get more revenue. Mr. Speaker, if you want to travel to Barbados from Accra, you go to Washington. From Washington to Miami before you get to Barbados. Whereas you can just do 3 hours to Senegal and do 6 hours to Barbados. Because we are not developing our routes. Travel with Ashkai from Accra to Niger, Mr. Speaker, you can use more than 8 hours. I remember I was flying from Niger. They took me to Mali. I started the journey 4 a.m. I go to Accra 6 p.m. A journey of 3 hours.
Honourable Member, in conclusion.
In conclusion, we need to support this agreement. Let's help the state to develop our route. It will bring revenue to us. Many tourists will visit the country. So by the end of the day, we can also position ourselves as a hub, like what Ethiopia Airlines is doing, Kenya Airways is doing. So by the end of the day, people will also get job to do. Mr. Speaker, I have more to say, but the way they are calling, so I'll conclude by saying this is a very good agreement. Let's support the minister so that we'll pass it. Thank you very much.
Members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, the consequential resolution. The minister responsible for transport. Yes?
Speaker, if leader finds pleasure in my application, there are about 5 agreements.
Yes.
And each of it comes with a consequential resolution. The practice in this house has been, we could take all the motions and then we take the resolutions together. That is, it will make life easy for us. If the leader finds...
Well, I want to trade cautiously. Once the resolution is not going to be argued, let's go by the order paper. Yes, Minister, you may move consequential resolution number 16 on today's order paper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution number 16 on page 7 of today's paper of the BASES be adopted today. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the resolution has been moved by the minister. Is there any seconder?
I second, Speaker.
Honourable members, as many as are in favor of the resolution number 16 at page 7 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The resolution number 16 at page 7 of today's order paper is accordingly adopted. Yes, motion number 17. Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the bilateral air service agreement (BASA) between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Minister of Transport, and the Government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, relating to the establishment of air services. And, Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I request that the hazard section or department capture the entirety of our report. Mr. Speaker, the committee concludes that the bilateral air services agreement between the Government of the Government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Republic of Ghana represents a strategic instrument for advancing national development through enhanced air connectivity, trade facilitation, and international cooperation. Mr. Speaker, the agreement establishes a robust legal and regulatory framework that ensures compliance with international aviation standards, promotes fair competition, and safeguards Ghana's sovereign interests. It further provides the mechanisms for safety, oversight, environmental protection, and dispute resolution, thereby fostering investor confidence and operational stability. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee is satisfied that the implementation of the agreement will contribute to the modernization of Ghana's aviation infrastructure, as well as stimulate tourism and commerce. Respectfully submitted.
Honourable members, motion ably moved. Report presented. Any seconder? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the chairman of the committee. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, the report was referred to the Joint Committee of Transport and Foreign Affairs. And Mr. Speaker, we thoroughly perused the document. Just as the report indicated, this agreement would help boost the tourism potentials of Ghana, as Saudi Arabia is targeting tourism in Africa, and they have their agenda for 2030. Again, it is also going to reduce the transit stress that Ghanaians have to go through via Egypt, Dubai, or even via Ethiopia. And so, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for being brief. Yes. Honorable. Yes.
Speaker, let me adopt comments made by the earlier speaker. Safe to add that this agreement so far, apart from the one with Benin, this is unique in terms of its environmental responsibility and sustainability. Because in the aviation industry now, one of the key narratives is how we can control emissions. And so an agreement that purports to reduce and to show responsibility when it comes to aviation emission, it's something that is worthy of our support. And so I would want to commend the ministry and also add that generally our focus should be how we can reduce the cost of air transport. And the Deputy Whip enumerated how air transport within the sub-region it's been more of a deterrent and difficult. And so this is a clear, dedicated effort towards reduction of the cost of air transport. And that will feed into our broader mission of continental free trade by the continent. So I urge the House to support the passage. And I'm very confident that the minister, who is showing confidence, ably assisted by his deputy, are blazing the trail and setting the tone for some wonderful work. So, Minister, we commend you, as we urge the House to support the adoption of the report. I thank you.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I join colleagues to recommend to this House the approval of this agreement. I am particularly impressed by the country that is seeking to enter into this bilateral agreement with the Republic of Ghana. That is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Because every year, we send several thousands of pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. This has been going on for a very long time. So it is time that we have a direct air travel agreements with them to open up our skies and make it easily accessible for airlines from both countries to access either countries. Mr. Speaker, the number of bilateral agreements that we are being requested to approve gives an indication of the increasing confidence of the world in our country, Ghana, and the fact that Ghana is indeed becoming the gateway to West Africa. And so many countries have airlines that are seeking to fly direct to Ghana and to enable onward connection to the rest of the continent. And so the minister is doing a good job bringing all those agreements to us so that we can open up our skies and make our country easily accessible by all these airlines so that we can increase the volumes that pass through our airport and also the earnings to our economy from the use of our airports. So, Mr. Speaker, on that note, I adopt all that has been said by my colleagues and I urge everyone to vote in favor of the adoption of this report and the agreement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion number 17 at page 8 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, Minister for Transport, consequential resolution number 18.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution number 18 on page 8 of today's order paper, page 8 and 9, be adopted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, resolution ably moved. Any seconder?
Right Honourable Speaker, I respectfully second.
Honourable members, move and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. I'll put a question as many as are in favor of the resolution numbered 18 at page 8 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The resolution numbered 18 on today's order paper at page 8 is hereby adopted. Motion number 19, Chairman of the Committee.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that this Honourable House adopt the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the Bilateral Services Agreement, BASA, between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Minister of Transport, and the Government of the Republic of Mauritius relating to the establishment of air services. Right Honourable Speaker, in doing so, I respectfully request that the hazard section do capture the entirety of the report, whilst I concentrate myself on the conclusion bit of it. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee has carefully examined the agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana and the Government of the Republic of Mauritius relating to scheduled. The next contains the relating to the scheduled details. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee is of the view that the agreement will promote cooperation in the aviation sector and therefore recommends to the House to adopt this report and ratify by resolution the agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana and the Government of the Republic of Mauritius relating to the scheduled air services in accordance with Article 72, Section 2B of the 1992 Constitution and the standing orders of Parliament. Respectfully submitted.
Honourable members, motion ably moved. Any seconder? Yes, Honourable Safoji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the report moved by the chairman of the committee. Safe to add that, the Speaker, I'm just having a copy of the report, and it's the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation. I want to suggest if the Committee on Foreign Affairs can be added, because there was a joint committee that worked together on this. I only seek your guidance. I don't know if it's the Speaker. Having said that, this is another agreement that, the Speaker, it is in the best interest of the country. The Speaker, if you look at the document, you will see that the ministry followed the ICAO specifications in factoring and considering the agreement. The Speaker, it would also give a fair competition to both Ghana and the country we are, Mauritius. Mr. Speaker, again, there are economic benefits to the two countries, which would enhance the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, and other health or other related industries that are important and need to be considered. Mr. Speaker, what is also very important is that this agreement in total or agreement in whole respects our air service laws in this country. For that matter, Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion and urge the House to adopt this agreement, air service agreement between Ghana and Mauritius. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Yes, Kobe.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I believe that, as has been said already, this bilateral service agreement derives from the Chicago Convention and is very reciprocal in nature. It means that what you do for country A, you actually be doing the same thing for country B, to open up opportunity and also create certainty in the aviation industry. Mr. Speaker, with Mauritius in particular, we know that Mauritius is one financial services hub in Africa that is able to attract and raise financing for so many categories of funders and businesses. I believe that as we sign this agreement, Ghanaians will take advantage of that opportunity to raise money from Mauritius into Ghana for a lot of the big projects we are envisaging to do, especially the 24-hour economy that we intend to build more factories, create more new institutions to make sure that young men and women in this country continue to get opportunities of their lifetime. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I also do believe that this agreement will go a long way to enhance hospitality in this country. A lot of people go to Mauritius for tourism. I believe that we should be able to go there and learn and bring some of these opportunities in Ghana. What I know in Mauritius is that, apart from the fact that they have always been energized to connect to Ghana, when you go to Mauritius itself, Mr. Speaker, they have smaller planes that are able to do the short distances to tourism sites. In Ghana, we don't seem to have them. If we have them, a lot of the hard-to-reach areas in Ghana can easily be reached by smaller aircrafts, such that tourism can be boosted in this country. If you look at also the charter service, it's one area we tend to fall short in this country, making it very expensive for people to use the normal airfares as part of their tourism packages to travel. So I believe that our relationship with Mauritius, with the coming into full operation of this agreement after the ratification, should enable Ghanaians, and especially the Ministry of Tourism, in collaboration with Transport, to do some work to ensure that we can have some connectivity and some learning opportunities for Ghanaians so that we can boost businesses here, raise financing for Mauritius for a lot of financing projects in this country. With this view, Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to support this ratification for it to be operationalized.
Thank you so much. At the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion numbered 19 at page 9 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, consequential resolution number 20. Minister responsible for transport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution number 20 on today's order paper, pages 9 and 10, relating to air service agreement between the Republic of Ghana and Mauritius be adopted. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All members, resolution moved and seconded.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully seconded.
Moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. All members, I'll put the question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The resolution number 20 at page 9 of today's order paper is accordingly adopted. Now, motion numbered 21. Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the Bilateral Air Service Agreement, BASA, between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Minister of Transport, and the government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana relating to the establishment of air services. Right Honourable Speaker, in doing so, I again want to request the hazard section or department to capture the entirety of our reports, whilst I concentrate on the conclusion. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee noted that the agreement establishes a comprehensive and balanced framework for regulating and promoting the transport relations between the Republic of Ghana and the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The agreement establishes a sound legal and regulatory framework that promotes fair competition, operational efficiency, and adherence to international safety and security standards. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee therefore recommends to the House to adopt this report and ratify the resolution, the bilateral service agreement between the government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Republic of Ghana in accordance with Article 75, Section 2B of the 1992 Constitution and Order 145 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, respectfully submitted.
Honourable members, motion move report presented. Any seconder? Yes, Honourable Onyinam.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I rise to move the motion, except that, Mr. Speaker, this is, so Onyina looks like me. I am Nana Addo Kenneth.
Oh, Addo Kenneth, sorry.
Yes.
Let
Speaker,
the record be corrected
Mr. Speaker, I'm
to
your deputy ranking.
Addo Kenneth.
I'm your deputy ranking on PMMB.
Very well.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion and also to draw the attention that the report was that of a joint committee of Transport and Foreign Affairs, and if that amendment can be made. In doing so, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the page 7 of the report, it tells you that we anticipate an increase in air traffic due to this agreement, and an increase in air traffic will mean that we are going to also be able to have more revenue to modernize our airport infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, it's also one of the most important aspects you can see in the committee report was the articles of the agreement. And Article 27 talked about the opportunity to have consultations and amendments. And that will provide for regular consultation for amendments of the agreement. So what it means is that this agreement is not just sacrosanct. As trends change, as we modernize, there's that opportunity for both countries to be able to have consultations, to make amendments that will be able to help the smooth operationalization of the agreement. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I so second the motion. Thank you.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, there's something unique about this agreement. One, Guyana is a Caribbean country, and we all know the ancestral and historical connection of the Caribbean to our side of the world. Mr. Speaker, we also know that moving from Ghana, especially, or Africa, to the Caribbean, sometimes it's a very difficult task. You have to pass through other countries before you can get into the Caribbean. I remember when I was regional minister, we signed an agreement with Bahamas, and getting them to come and go became some kind of a headache. Mr. Speaker, I believe that with the signing to agreement of this bilateral agreement with Guyana would actually enhance our traveling opportunities to the Caribbean, and then in Guyana in particular. Mr. Speaker, we all know that Guyana, like Ghana, has also discovered oil and gas, and the expertise that Ghanaians have gained are also very needed in that country. Meaning that with this bilateral service agreement where it is reciprocal, opening up the competition and opportunities for both countries, Ghana should be able to derive a lot of maximum benefit from it. Secondly, with the year of return, beyond the return, and then the Black Star experience, Mr. Speaker, I do believe that the passenger throughput into Accra would also increase, giving us the opportunity to raise revenues, create new market platform for Ghanaians, and be able to sell what we have as a Ghana to the rest of the world, and especially the Caribbean. So with these few words, Mr. Speaker, and with the highest standards of security and safety that has been embedded in this bilateral service agreement, and the commercial rights and operational facilitations that comes with this agreement. I believe that members should support the ratification of this bilateral service agreement in this chamber today. With this, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favour of the motion number 21 at page 10 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Consequential resolution number 22, Minister responsible for transport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution number 22 on pages 10 of today's order paper relating to the bilateral air service agreement between the Republic of Ghana and the government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana be adopted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, resolution move for adoption. Any seconder?
Right, Honourable Speaker, respectfully seconded.
Resolution moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. I'll put a question. As many as are in favour say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Resolution number 22 at page 10 of today's order paper is accordingly adopted. Motion numbered 23, Chairman of the Committee.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the Bilateral Air Service Agreement, BASA, between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Transport, and the Government of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, relating to the establishment of air services. Right Honourable Speaker, I will respectfully request that the Hansard section captures the entirety of the report, whilst I also concentrate briefly on the conclusion. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee has carefully examined the agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana and the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg relating to the scheduled air services, and it's satisfied that its provisions are in the interest of both countries. The committee therefore recommends to the House to adopt this report and ratify by resolution the bilateral air service agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana and the Government of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg in accordance with Article 75, Section 2B of the Constitution of the 1992 Constitution and Order 145 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. Respectfully submitted.
Honourable members, motion move, report presented. Any seconder?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable
Mr. Speaker.
Kenneth Addo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion and again to also make the amendment that the Foreign Affairs Committee be added as a joint committee. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, this agreement is very unique in the sense that it's not just the air and passenger freight advantage that we have, but we all know that Luxembourg is one of the largest stations for cargo. And therefore, having this agreement between Ghana and Luxembourg would give Ghana the direct opportunity in terms of its cargo transport for gold, for cocoa, for shea butter, and even fresh produce. And so, beyond it following all the regulations that we have, ICAO, and all the very comprehensive and detailed reports, as well as briefing from the ministry, Mr. Speaker, I second this motion and urge that this House would adopt the report. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe that it is right that we are rectifying this bilateral service agreement today. Mr. Speaker, you should understand that Luxembourg is one of the financial heavyweights in Europe. Mr. Speaker, this agreement or request had come a very long time. I remember when I was Deputy Aviation Minister, this request had come. So doing it today, I'm very, very delighted. Mr. Speaker, one key component of the report talks about customs and tax exemption. Mr. Speaker, clearly it shows you that these issues about tax waivers and tax exemptions are key to the development and fairness in any financial transactions. In fact, over the period, I've questioned myself, for instance, that if somebody was coming to, say, construct a road in Ghana and he bought vehicles, why is it the person paying duties? Because if the person was using the same vehicles to construct road in that country, originating country, they don't pay any duty. And therefore making our costs of doing business in this country sometimes expensive. It is in the same vein that I support the tax waivers for the 1D, 1F. And I believe that with the coming into effect of 24-hour economy, a lot of these tax waivers will be coming, and we have to relook at how we handle these issues. Mr. Speaker, like I earlier said, Luxembourg is one of the financial services centers and heavyweights in Europe. And Ghana needs a lot of money or financing from this European Center of Finance. And I believe that signing this agreement with them, and these agreements are going to be reciprocal, I believe that we need to support them so that our connectivity between these countries would be enhanced, so that Ghanaians can be able to go back and forth. Their investors can also come into Ghana as quickly as possible, that all the necessary tax burdens and the real connectivity that they need to enter Ghana and conduct good business. In doing so also, Ghana will continue to establish itself as a hub for aviation in West Africa and Africa in general. And with the international continental free trade zone that we have, such increasing numbers of bilateral service agreements that we sign will provide the certainty and the comfort for a lot of these airlines and a lot of these countries and the citizens of these countries to easily get into Ghana and have access to our people, to our markets, and to our trade. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I would like to support it, and I urge members to vote for it.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favour of the motion number 23 at page 11 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, consequential resolution number 24. Minister for Transport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution numbered 24 on pages 11 relating to bilateral air service agreement between the Republic of Ghana and the government of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg relating to air service agreement be adopted. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Resolution moved. Any seconder?
Right Honourable Speaker, respectfully seconded.
Moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. The question is as many as are in favour of the resolution number 24 at page 11 of today's order paper say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is accordingly adopted. Now, motion numbered 25. Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Most grateful. And I beg that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the Bilateral Air Service Agreement, BASA, between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Transport, and the Government of the State of Qatar relating to the establishment of air services. Right Honourable Speaker, I respectfully request that the hazard section again captures the entirety of the report, whilst I concentrate on the conclusion. Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee concludes that the bilateral service agreement between the government of the Republic of Ghana and the government of the State of Qatar represent a significant step towards strengthening international cooperation in civil aviation. And therefore, the committee recommends the ratification of the agreement between the government of the State of Qatar and the government of the Republic of Ghana for air services to enable its effective implementation and to advance Ghana's participation in global and regional aviation development. Respectfully submitted.
Honourable members, motion moved, report presented. Any seconder?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion by the chairman of the Transport Committee. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I want to raise a few points. Mr. Speaker, just as the other agreement we've done today in this House, that have complied wholly with the standards, the ICAO standards, respect for our air services laws, and all other information. Mr. Speaker, I want to also add that this is a big commercial liberalization for our country. Mr. Speaker, it is going to open a lot doors and avenues for development and opportunities for our young men who are going into a whole lot of entrepreneurship programs. Speaker, it will also raise revenue, as I mentioned, in the other agreements, and it will also create jobs. Speaker, I want to commend the ministry and his team, or the minister and his team, for considering and bringing before this House to ratify this agreement. Speaker, with these few words, I want to support the motion and urge the House that they approve of this report. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Richard Achampo.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to support the motion before us. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the committee to go further and then try to provide more information to our counterparts. I remember I traveled to Doha with the now Transport Minister. We went with our diplomatic passport. They didn't know that it's visa-free. So they delay us more than even 4 hours at the airport. So the point is, you pass all this agreement, the operators and then officers who are managing the airport, many of them don't have this information. So they will be making calls to find out if indeed you can go with a diplomatic passport or your ordinary passport. So these are some of the information we should pass on to people traveling to those countries. We want to improve air services, but the point is, who can go to these countries? What are the arrangements? So at least the committee should also give us more information, provide data. Now we can go online and check if you can travel to this country with your diplomatic passport or ordinary passport, like we have in South Africa. I travel with somebody, when they issue the visa to you, that same day you can't travel with a visa. It takes some time. But many people don't know. They get to the airport, they say you can't enter the country. So these are some of the education we can also give to our people so that people will not go get stranded when they want to travel and get some services. So the committee can do better and then help all of us. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, Honorable Ochiraku.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the minister and his team and the chairman for this report. Mr. Speaker, everybody knows that the International Civil Aviation Authority, which was actually established after the Chicago Convention of 1944, believes that such agreements are good to standardize practice, standardize the safety and security of air services. Mr. Speaker, of importance to this Qatar bilateral service agreement is the statement that they've made. It says, the purpose of the agreement is to establish a legal framework for, and the operative word is, enhanced partnership and cooperation between the aeronautical authorities of Ghana and that of the state of Qatar. Clearly shows that there's been some relationship. And I believe that for them to work so quickly to do an enhanced one to bring to this House is very key. Everybody knows that one of the key growth poles in the world is the Middle East, and Qatar can never be discounted. I mean, if you take the way they hosted the World Cup and their visit to Ghana when Nana Addo was the president, it shows their interest in a lot of projects in Ghana. And I believe that we should be able to give them the red carpet to be able to bring in more investment that they plan to do. Already we know their populations are not so huge. So naturally they also look for new areas to grow their money And while they are also going to grow their money in Ghana, we should also look for new ways to take advantage and opportunities of such bilateral services agreement to also position ourselves to do more. I believe that Qatar, with that huge financial muscle, should be encouraged to be looking at aeroplane flying schools. We know we have the airport in Ho, for instance, which has been lying idle for some time. We have to look at it. In our time, we're looking at some South Africans. I know these few years, some few gentlemen have come, they've not been able to deliver. But if we are able to hold on them to some of these agreements we are having with them, they should be able to invest in areas that are critical. Because you know that the shortage of pilots in the world is over 10,000. And we can position very well as a country to tap into this and get a lot of our young men and women to be part of this process. The Speaker, with these few words, I encourage and urge all members and colleagues to support this and say kudos to the Minister for bringing so many of these bilaterals to the House. It should bring more so that we can create a bigger hub for Ghana and create more job opportunities for our youth. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favour of the motion number 25 at page 11 and 12 of today's order paper, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Now the consequential resolution number 26. Minister for Transport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution number 26 on page 12 of today's order paper relating to the bilateral air service agreement between the Republic of Ghana and the government of the States of Qatar relating to the establishment of air service agreement be adopted. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, resolution ably moved. Any seconder?
Right Honourable Speaker, respectfully seconded.
It is for the consideration of the House. I'll put a question as many as are in favour of the resolution number 26 at page 12 of today's order paper. Say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The resolution is accordingly adopted. Yes, Minister for Transport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to seize this opportunity to thank your good self and colleagues for going through these agreements and adopting them, making us compliant with the International Civil Aviation Authority. The government of Ghana wishes to create the kind of environment within the aviation sector by placing Ghana as the hub to West Africa. And by so doing, we need to look at our legal framework that will direct us to how disputes and other issues will be addressed. And the right thing is for us to see to the ratification of all these agreements that have been signed for so many years. And I'm so grateful and happy that today the Parliament of Ghana has gone through the ratification of all these agreements. I want to, on behalf of the Ministry and Government, thank the Speaker and the House for going through this adoption of all the buses we have brought before you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think we can now go back to the commemorative statements advertised in 7A and 7B.
Very well. Before then, let me take 2 minutes suspension.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, resume your seats. Honourable members, item number 7, statement. The first commemorative statement stands in the name of Honourable Alexander Roosevelt Otoje, Member of Parliament for Central Tong. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a statement to acknowledge MSME Day 2026 being celebrated under the theme Elevating the Future Generations of Ghana's SMEs through digital empowerment and innovation. Mr. Speaker, the numbers speak for themselves. SMEs are not the future of our economy. They are the present. This is underscored in the following ways. 1, scale and employment. SMEs constitute over 90% of all registered businesses in Ghana and provide around 80% of total employment. And in absolute terms, there are also an estimated 1.7 million MSMEs employing about 8.5 million people, with an average of 5 persons per enterprise. GCB Bank's 2023 report also confirms MSMEs account for over 90% of businesses and about 80% of employment. 2, contribution to GDP and growth. According to GIZ, 70% of Ghana's gross domestic product is provided by SMEs. The sector constitutes 92% of manufacturing and 70% of growth, and was key to the 5.8 GDP growth recorded in first half of 2024. 3, dominance in the economy. The Ghana Statistical Service's IBES 1 report shows micro-sized businesses alone make up 90.4% of all businesses, and 92.3% of businesses remain informal. They are the true engine room across trade, agriculture, manufacturing, services, and technology. Mr. Speaker, the theme for today is apt. We cannot talk about the future generation of micro, small, and medium enterprises without talking about digital empowerment and innovation. Data shows micro, small, and medium enterprises data shows micro and small medium enterprises leveraging digital tools experience up to a 40% increase in revenue compared to traditional models. Yet, key obstacles such as informality, poor digital literacy, and underutilization of mobile and social platforms remain a problem. Mr. Speaker, on Monday at Kempiski, we witnessed the micro, small, and medium enterprises digital gateway go live, and government committed to
unlock 6 billion Ghana cedis in affordable lending by 2027 for at least 100,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises, with 60% for youth and women. Mr. Speaker, I must also acknowledge the critical support being offered by the ministry responsible for trade, industry, and agribusiness and industry. The Ghana Enterprises Agency, development partners, financial institutions, private sector stakeholders who continue to support MSME's growth in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, permit me to use this platform to commend GIZ, UNDP, the European Union, Stanbic Bank, MTN Ghana, Ghana Exim Bank, and other partners for investing in financing digital skills, market access, and MSME clinics, and we are witnessing today. Their collaboration is essential to lifting the burden of micro, small, and medium enterprises. Mr. Speaker, however, if we are serious about elevation, we must be blunt about the bottlenecks. Access to finance remains the biggest constraint. However, in the last few years, this has dropped from 44.24% to around 25% now, and a gap of over 5 billion persists for Ghana's SMEs. Regulatory multiplicity also hurts the sector. For example, an entrepreneur needs 10% unique permits, with about 15 agencies regulating MSMEs. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I propose 3 key points for the future. 1, digitize to formalize, formalize to finance. We must scale the micro, small, and medium enterprises digital gateway and link it to universal digital registration. A stronger digital database will de-risk MSMEs for banks, reduce informality, and unlock the 6 billion facility faster. 2, TVET must be handwired into SMEs growth. The future generation needs digital skills, UX, UI, e-commerce, and fintech adoption, not just workshops. Let GEA, our development partners, and the TVET service co-design apprenticeships for the digital economy. Number 3, one market, one window. So to reduce the 10 permits and 15 agencies, we need a single MSME regulatory window with digitized compliance. This will cut the cost of doing business and allow MSMEs to focus on production and not paperwork. Mr. Speaker, MSMEs are the backbone, the engine for growth, and our best bet for inclusive jobs for youth and women. Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate the day, let this House commit to moving SMEs from watching the movie outside the cinema to being fully inside, fully digital, and fully bankable. Mr. Speaker, this will enable Ghana tap into the full potential of MSMEs as key contributors to the Ghana's economy. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, statement ably made. May I suggest, in view of another statement, we take 2-2 plus leadership. Two plus leadership. Yes, Honorable. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And I thank my colleague, Honorable Roosevelt Hotoje, for this brilliant statement on MSMEs Day in Ghana and the world. Mr. Speaker, in Ghana, MSMEs contributes one of the largest sources of employment in this country. And it is the engine of economic growth, since it contributes about 70% of Ghana's total GDP, according to GIZ. Mr. Speaker, MSMEs also support industrialization. If our 1D1F had come into fruition, you would have seen the support of MSMEs in this country. Mr. Speaker, but there's a new paradigm shift when it comes to MSMEs in this country by the regulator. Mr. Speaker, most of these MSMEs are now going to be moved into microfinance banks, and savings and loans, microfinance companies, microcredit companies will all be moved to microfinance banks. Mr. Speaker, but the trick is, whereby savings and loans, capital requirement for now is about 15 million. In the new architecture, the capital requirements for them is going to be 50 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, where microfinance companies has a minimum capital requirement now of about 2 million, in the new architecture, microfinance companies will be required to have 50 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, with this new paradigm shift, it is greatly going to affect the capital requirement of some of these companies. And if care is not taken, foreigners will move into this space, which has always been controlled and handled by indigenes. So, Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate the day today, I also urge BOG to also have proper capital timelines for all these MSMEs who are going to be transitioned into the new architecture, so that the employment that they give to the youth in this country will continuously be supported by these MSMEs. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I support the statement by the honorable member. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Honorable Erikafu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by the chairman for Trade, Industry and Tourism and honorable member for Central Tongue, Honorable Alexander Hotoji. Mr. Speaker, it is true that the MSMEs are the bedrock of the global economy. You can't take that one out from them. And they form 90% of the entire business establishment in the world. The Speaker, also it will tell you that about 1.9 million business establishment in Ghana, we have MSMEs form about 1.7 million business establishments, and they employ a lot of people in the country. Mr. Speaker, we all know that the central government all over the world, the Speaker cannot employ the chunk of the people in the country. So these are the areas we get our employment from. Mr. Speaker, one unfortunate aspect of the MSMEs is that they are not formalized, as said by the maker of the statement. they operate within the informal sector. And you all know that within the informal sector, it's not well structured. For that matter, the authorities, they don't register with the authorities. And also, what happens is that they evade taxes. The government is unable to get revenue from them. So I think these are the areas we should advise and caution them to do that. Mr. Speaker, to also tell you that government, and even this House, we have made frantic efforts to motivate the MSMEs. Mr. Speaker, let me give you some few areas. The Free Zone Act, which is Act 504, we have used this one to motivate the MSMEs, providing incentives for export-oriented businesses to strive the globally competitive environment. Mr. Speaker, the introduction of the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and Entrepreneurship Policy in 2019, which established a framework for coordinated support to MSMEs. Mr. Speaker, the passage of the Ghana Enterprises Agency Act, Act 1043 in 2020, which established dedicated body to promote development MSMEs across the world. Mr. Speaker, a lot of things have been made to motivate the MSMEs. For that matter, we should encourage them. They need encouragement. I heard one of the speakers talking about financing. We should create a way for them to be financed with less interest rates so that they can also increase their capacity. Mr. Speaker, it is true that if these enterprises are not there, the world economy will suffer. Ghana economy will suffer. And therefore, we should do all what we can do to assist these enterprises to play their rightful role, especially creating employment in the country. Mr. Speaker, let me end here by thanking you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you have the floor. Yes, Kobe.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this great opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy that this statement has been made in this House. In fact, we need more of such statements. When we come to this House, invariably about 90% of the statements that are made here and the discussions that goes on in this House has always been about expenditure. But this is a statement about growth and about revenue. And I believe that the maker and all those contributing should be encouraged to do more. Mr. Speaker, micro, small and medium enterprises actually are the backbone of every economy in the world, either the developed or developing. And therefore, we should be able to support them seriously. In America, we have the Small Business Organization. In Ghana, we have the Enterprise. We have the Enterprise Program. Mr. Speaker, one of the major challenges we have in this country has always been to finance. Currently, a lot of the banks are not accessible to the micro and small businesses in this country. And even if we take the current sterilization by the Bank of Ghana, giving a better interest rate to banks, with the risk associated with lending to small businesses, Mr. Speaker, all the capital are now being moved. Instead of coming into the small and medium sector, it's now actually going to the Bank of Ghana. So there's no money in the system. So even when people produce in the villages, at the farm gates, the small, micro, medium enterprises that need this money to buy from the farm gates just don't have the capital to go and buy. And in doing so, we also slow down the growth of these companies and also slow down the growth of this country. One other major issue has to do with the issue of regulation. Like the maker of the statement said, for one agency, you need so many permits from so many different organizations, and they come at different times. So today, this one locks your shop, they open it, the next person goes, locks your shop. So even the energy to do business by the small and micro industries becomes a difficulty. And I believe that we might have to start looking at these things. Mr. Speaker, if we take an organization like FDA, when people apply, sometimes it takes more than a year for them to get a license just to manufacture. So in an industry where you have about 90% of them being micro, small, and medium, getting just one license or one approval in a year before they can manufacture. Naturally, Mr. Speaker, when they go there 1-2 times in a month and they don't get it, they'll manufacture and put them on the market. And we all know, all of us, we eat outside, we use the product from outside, and it becomes a difficulty. So I believe that it is time that the bottlenecks that are being created by our own agencies, which are supposed to regulate these industries, need to set up. Mr. Speaker, even when you come to even mining, small-scale mining, people ask for license. It takes them 3 years before they get a license. That is why I've always said in this house that we need to decentralize and give all the powers to the districts so that they can engage these people. If somebody needs an FDA license, why does he have to come to Accra? Or the man in the district say that I'm waiting for Accra before I can issue it. When today, we have digital systems in this world that we can leverage because everybody trained, for instance, in the regulatory space have virtually gone to the same school. So why should a man in, say, Wase Kropon be deemed to be unfit to issue a license than his own colleague, classmates, who may be, say, in Accra? And it's because we have not been able to decentralize and decentralize properly. That is why we are still underdeveloped. Mr. Speaker, if we take a country like China, which is so vast and deep, even economic zones and free zone enclaves are managed by unit committee, not even the district assemblies in China. So you see them always growing. But us, we continue to use the power of centralization to create bottlenecks for our own people. And therefore, our people are just not developing. Today, people talk about overcrowding in Accra. When Central region, there are spaces. Western region, there are spaces. Ashanti, there are spaces. Eastern region. We need to decentralize. And that is...
Honorable Senator Ajiman Rawlings.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement made by the Honourable Member. Mr. Speaker, given the amount of money that government has committed to releasing to MSMEs, I think that it's important that we take cognizance of the fact that there is a 50% failure rate of MSMEs. There's a 20% success rate of startups. The fact that women and youth are being targeted is very important because the majority of our population are young people. Mr. Speaker, in order to make sure that the investment that government will be making into MSMEs, it will be important that hand-holding, the mentorship in the industry is done in a deliberate way in order to be able to achieve the outcomes that we're looking for, so that the investment that Ghana government is making in terms of supporting MSMEs with loans does not go to waste. It is also known that a lot of these enterprises end up defaulting on their loans because of the failure of their businesses. So as part of the policy of making financial packages easily available and accessible to these MSMEs, it would be important to include a form of mentorship for such persons who are engaged in the industry to ensure their success so that the money does not go to waste. As we know, in addition to all of the constraints in accessing the financial support, the operational inefficiencies, the lack of capacity in terms of managerial expertise, the lack of strategic planning, and inadequate capacity in financial management are part of the reasons why a lot of these MSMEs do not succeed. And so it would be important to make use of technology, to make use of the digitalization of the space to help build the capacity of persons in the industry, and also to reduce the costs involved of harmonizing the frameworks. Mr. Speaker, another very important part of this is the inadequate infrastructure. If we're asking MSMEs that are outside the capitals to remain outside the capitals, then the projects regarding the road constructions under the Big Push and other policies of government have to be done bearing in mind the economic impact that they will have positively on the success rate and growth of these MSMEs. Infrastructure is very important. And then finally, to add, Mr. Speaker, that as we look at improving the standing of these MSMEs, to look at how we can ensure that trade and commerce under the African Continental Free Trade area happens in a way that makes it possible for cross-border businesses to thrive, and not just within the country, in order that members of these enterprises are able to access markets outside of Ghana. And so, Mr. Speaker, I do add my voice to the maker of the statement, and I commend him for saying. Thank you.
Yes. Minority leadership.
Speaker, thank you very much. Let me first of all take this opportunity to commend my senior colleague, Honorable Roosevelt Hotoji, for such a remarkable statement. Mr. Speaker, coincidentally, every 27th day of June is observed as MSC's Day, and therefore, it tells you the kind of role MSCs play in our body politic. Mr. Speaker, why are MSCs days observed? Why do we observe this day as an MSME day? Mr. Speaker, because they play very, very vital roles, including ensuring that there is economic growth, there is innovation, there is job provisions, and there is sustainable development. But, Mr. Speaker, MSCs do not stand on their own. They need support from businesses, from government, and from other international bodies to perform the kind of roles they perform. Mr. Speaker, how do we support MSCs? First of all, I think that we should improve on their access to finance. How do we do that? By making loans affordable, making grants and investment opportunities more available to MSCs. That is one. Mr. Speaker, two, we have also observed that MSCs can perform better when their activities are digitalized. So there is also the need to adopt digital technology in supporting the activities of MSC. For instance, if you want to make payments, and if you want to also even take loans, that is why the interoperability, the mobile money interoperability, is one of the key projects or key platforms by which MSCs can perform their task. The only problem, really, is also the mindset of the people that even go assessing such loans. Mr. Speaker, you'll be surprised the people who are owing a lot of telecommunication companies because of such facility. And Mr. Speaker, when they even take such facilities, they take the loans, they even use a certain mobile money number, and they take so much and they are owing, then they abandon it. They throw the SIM card into one of the flood zones in Wejagbawe. Mr. Speaker, if we are able to improve upon the activities of MSMEs, we can do better using technology. And that is why we should try to improve on software mechanisms which are better. We should also encourage e-commerce platforms and also even social media to improve efficiency of MSCs. Mr. Speaker, MSCs should also provide business training to both their clients and their staff. I've had the occasion of, I do not want to call the particular name of that MSC, But this MSME had a way of retrieving funds from its customers when they failed to pay. Including, Mr. Speaker, in the night, they visit their customers and throw stones onto... they throw stones on the roofs of the people who have not paid those loans and facilities they've granted them. But, Mr. Speaker, if we compare that to the use of technology, most of these things can be avoided. And if their staff are properly trained and given the necessary resources, some of these things can be kept. Because before you even access the facility, we know that you are somebody who is capable of paying, and for whatever use you are taking the facility for, you are really going to use it for same. Mr. Speaker, we need to encourage innovation, support research, provide the necessary product development, and then adopt new technologies to ensure there is competitive nature in MSC's activities. And also the need to develop the infrastructure that MSCs use. Mr. Speaker, not to bore you, I think that there is also the need to improve on financial literacy. Let people know that when you go for facilities, the facility is for a particular purpose. You don't go for a facility that you're going to use for business, then you end up using for funerals or using to buy funeral clothing. In some communities that we have lived, we know that people go for all manner of loans with the idea that I'm going to use it for a certain project, but by the time you are done, they use the facility for other projects. Mr. Speaker, we also need to say that when we are able to implement all these MSMEs ideas that we have brought up as contributed by other members, they can become more productive, they can become more resilient, and they... Mr. Speaker.
Yes, majority leadership.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity, and then I thank the honourable member for bringing this issue up. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to pay attention to our small and medium-scale businesses and then invest in them. Like many contributors have just said, government cannot create employment for almost everybody. But if you support the private sector, they will also help and then create more jobs for the people. So when we're talking about financial inclusion, these are the people we are talking about. Now we have Exim Bank, we have Development Bank Ghana, and they are all lending facilities through banks to other people. And Mr. Speaker, what they are doing now is manufacturing, agribusiness, ICT, and then high-value services. Your committee, finance committee, last 2 weeks, visited some companies in the northern region and some in the Tama enclaves to monitor what they are doing to support the growth of this economy. Development Bank, in the budgets of 2026, the minister mentioned that they are making about 500 million for this 24-hour economy initiatives. So we need to include Development Bank Ghana, let people take advantage, access the facility, help develop this economy. But if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, the politically exposed people go in there, take the facility, but at the end of the day, nothing comes out of it. Because they are politically connected, they will get the facility done, the professionals who can use the money to develop this economy of ours. These are some of the things we need to do away with. They will not pay back. They say we are going to grow maize, cassava, pineapples. But at the end of the day, we will not see anything. And they come telling you, and the rain setting and everything has been washed away, which is never the case. My colleague was talking about the recapitalization and the paid-up capital of the financial institutions. Bank of Ghana have issued a statement. Now they are changing the names of all rural banks to community banks. And their stated capital has been increased to 5 million Ghana cedis. But there's a danger, Mr. Speaker. Many of them are artificial. We need physical injection, cash, liquidity. But many rely on their retained earnings. So, for example, now they have 3 million paid-up capital. Because you've raised it to 5 million, they'll go back to their reserves account and then increase it by 2 or 3 million. So by the way, there's no fiscal cash. So when there's a run on the bank, there's no way they can deal with their customers. So they can't give loans. So let's use the state institution, Exim Bank, Development Bank, Ghana, give them the resources. And Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, their recovery rate is 99.9%, almost 100%, because they do a proper assessment of the facility, and they are on-lending the facility through the banks. So if the beneficiaries refuse to pay, they hold the banks responsible. And no bank will sit down to lose this investment. And they put a small margin on it. Let's say 2 minus of 2 or plus percent. So it's cheaper to deal with these state institutions, take off these politically exposed people, and allow the private people who have the know-how, the techniques to deal with these matters. Mr. Speaker, many of us, we go to the shopping mall, we buy things, we don't take receipts. We deploy a POS. How many people are even patronizing this? Even affixing of tax stamp became a challenge. You buy some products, you can't find a tax stamp. How can you pay tax to the state? So these are some of the things, GRA, the state, all of us should come together. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to talk about this matter at another time. So let's come together. It's good our colleague brought this matter up, but we have a lot to do. And let's use the state institutions. Exim Bank and Development Bank Ghana can help us deal with these matters. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Honourable members, that brings us to the end of the first statement. Before taking the second one, indulge me to acknowledge the presence of visitors from St. Matthew's Catholic Basic, Takwa, led by Matinakwa, head teacher. They are from Takwa Nswaim. They numbered 69. We also have Ghana National Tailors and Dressmakers Association, led by Veronica Onoma Mensa, coordinator. They are from Agona West. They numbered 86. On your behalf, I welcome them to Parliament of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. You are welcome once again. So you can now resume your seat. The second statement stands in the name of Honorable Superintendent Retired Peter Lanchini Tobu, Member of Parliament for Wa West. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to make a statement in commemoration of the International Day of Parliamentarism observed annually on 30th June. Established by the Interparliamentary Union and endorsed by the United Nations, this important occasion offers an opportunity for nations worldwide to celebrate the indispensable role of parliaments and parliamentarians in advancing democratic governance, promoting accountability, safeguarding human rights, and advancing sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, as we commemorate this year's International Day of Parliamentarism, under the theme, Bring Human Rights into Focus, it is particularly appropriate to place human rights at the center of our reflections. At the heart of parliamentary democracy lies the protection of the human dignity, freedoms, and rights of every citizen. Parliament is not merely a law-making institution. It is a guardian of constitutional liberties and a custodian of the social contract between the state and the people. Throughout the history of the Fourth Republic, this House has contributed significantly to advancing human rights through legislation, oversight, and representation. Parliament has supported reforms aimed at strengthening access to justice, promoting gender equality, protecting children and vulnerable persons, enhancing the rights of persons with disabilities, safeguarding freedom of expression and association, and ensuring greater accountability in the exercise of public power. The protection of human rights is essential to national development, social cohesion, and democratic stability. Societies thrive when citizens enjoy equal protection under the law, participate freely in public affairs, and have confidence that their rights will be respected and defended. In this regard, Parliament has a continuing responsibility to ensure that our laws, policies, and public institutions uphold the principles enshrined in the 1992 Constitution and in the international human rights commitments to which Ghana is a party. Mr. Speaker, the challenges of our time, including poverty, inequality, discrimination, insecurity, climate change, and the rapid transformation of the digital space, also present important human rights questions. Parliament must therefore remain vigilant in ensuring that technological progress, economic development, and national security measures are pursued in ways that protect human dignity, promote inclusion, and leave no one behind. As representatives of the people, we must continue to strengthen our Parliament to be an institution that is accessible, inclusive, transparent, and responsive to the needs of all Ghanaians, particularly women, young people, persons with disabilities, and other historically underrepresented groups. Mr. Speaker, Parliament's commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights is reflected not only in its oversight and representative functions, but also in its legislative achievement. Over the years, this House has enacted landmark legislation to advance human dignity, equality, inclusion, and access to justice. These include the Children's Act, the Human Trafficking Act, the Persons with Disability Act, the Domestic Violence Act, the Mental Health Act, the Data Protection Act, the Witness Protection Act, the Legal Aid Commission Act, the Right to Information Act, the Abolition of the Death Penalty Act, the Affirmative and Gender Equity Act, and the Social Protection Act. Collectively, these laws have strengthened our human rights framework and enhanced the protection of vulnerable groups within society. Currently, Mr. Speaker, the Community Service Bill 2026 is being thoroughly considered by the House with a view to abating the congestion in our correctional facilities as a gesture to promote the well-being of inmates. Mr. Speaker, the establishment of the Committee on Human Rights during the revision of the standing orders in 2024 is a testament to our commitment to raising the bar in promoting human rights as a bona fide right of every Ghanaian. The committee is mandated to scrutinize legislation for compliance with international human rights standards, engage with international and regional human rights mechanisms, and strengthen collaboration with SHRAJ, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, as we commemorate this important day, we should honor the distinguished men and women who have served in this House since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. Their vision, sacrifice, and commitment laid the foundation upon which our parliamentary democracy continues to thrive. We remember with profound respect former speakers of parliament whose leadership helped shape the institution and strengthen its capacity to serve the Ghanaian people. Among them are Justice Daniel Francis Annan, the first Speaker of the Fourth Republic, who guided the establishment of the parliamentary traditions and procedures under the new constitutional order. Peter Ala Ajeti, under whose stewardship Parliament witnessed one of the most significant democratic transitions in Ghana's history. Ebenezer Sechi Hughes, Justice Joyce Adeline Bamford Addo, the first woman to serve as a Speaker of Parliament, Do Ajaho, and Professor Aaron Mike Okwe, whose tenure was marked by very important reforms aimed at strengthening parliamentary practice and public engagement. We equally pay tribute to former members of Parliament from across the political spectrum whose service enriched parliamentary debate and advanced the cause of democratic governance. Distinguished parliamentarians such as J.H. Owusu Champon, J.H. Mensah, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, Papa Owusu Ankuma, John Dramani Mahama, Mohamed Mumuni, Mohamed Ibn Chambers, Hakman Ouswajiman, Frima Opari, Cletus Abaka, Benjamin Kumbo, Joe Gatti, Joseph Yelechre, Atachia, and many others who contributed immensely to the growth and maturation of parliamentary democracy in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the theme for this year's commemoration draws attention. The theme for this year's commemoration draws attention to the need for stronger, more responsive, and more inclusive parliamentary institutions capable of addressing the complexities of the 21st century. Economic uncertainty, climate change, rapid technological transformation, widening inequalities, and evolving citizen expectations require parliaments that are innovative, forward-looking, and firmly grounded in evidence and public participation. As representatives of the people, we bear a solemn responsibility to strengthen public confidence in democratic institutions. It also requires us to ensure that parliamentary processes remain accessible, inclusive, and responsive to all segments of society, particularly women, young people, persons with disability, and other historically underrepresented groups. Mr. Speaker, today, as we reflect on the remarkable progress since 1993, we acknowledge that the success of Ghana's parliamentary democracy has been built on the collective efforts of generations of parliamentarians, parliamentary staff, and citizens who have remained steadfast in their commitment to constitutional governance. Their legacy imposes on us a continuing obligation to preserve and strengthen the democratic gains of the Fourth Republic. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, as we mark the International Day of Parliamentarism, may this occasion inspire us to continue working together in the service of our nation and the pursuit of a more prosperous, inclusive, and democratic Ghana, and to strengthen Parliament as a beacon of democracy. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to make this statement.
Honourable members, subject to the same number, may I proceed to give the floor to Honourable Ashai Odampton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by my brother and colleague on the subject matter of parliaments and parliamentarians as we commemorate the Day of Parliamentarians, which fell on 30th June. Mr. Speaker, I cannot agree with the maker of the statement anymore, and I believe that it is time for us to take account of what we stand for as an organ of government. Mr. Speaker, at the fourth paragraph, the maker of the statement pointed to a key activity of Parliament that we should not gloss over. And with your permission, I want to take that line. Parliament has a continuing responsibility to ensure that our laws, policies, and public institutions uphold the principles enshrined in the 1992 Constitution and other international commitments to which Ghana is a party. I think this is instructive, especially the responsibility laid on us to protect public institutions, to advance our democracy, and ensure that this part of governance, which we have all chosen, would be entrenched. We will protect it, and it will be the basis for our development and economic advancement. As we speak about constitutionalism, we cannot say it without thanking the father of the Fourth Republican Constitution, the late Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. The reason the late Rawlings cannot be overlooked is the fact that he took cognizance of the challenges of the transitions in constitutional governments, the changes in government. And so we had a constitution that placed the parliament as a critical anchor to our national development. In that anchor, we see the three organs of government with separation of power. And the critical role of Parliament cannot be overemphasized, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, when public institutions are protected, they serve the human rights of our people. And that is why the Constitution of Ghana, in the 1992 Constitution, went further to even protect some institutions by naming them as independent constitutional bodies. I want to even appreciate the Right Honorable Speaker Alban Subana Bagbin for his tireless effort in reviewing the standing orders of our Parliament. The review of our standing orders has brought to the fore the modern requirements or needs of our Parliament to ensure that our Parliament is current, our Parliament meets the exigencies of today, and we are better placed to serve our communities. Of course, we cannot talk about formation and enactment of laws without mentioning the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. No wonder he is referred to as the king of winnowing. Our first Deputy Speaker avails himself as a parliamentarian who is adept at lawmaking. And so in even other committees that he does not serve, he plays his role as a parliamentarian and further brings to the fore his expertise as a lawyer to enrich our lawmaking processes. Mr. Speaker, as I laud you, I have sat at the feet of our current majority leader, and I have seen his heart in trying to defend constitutionalism and also promote parliaments in ensuring that independent constitutional bodies are given the needed support for them to function. As we are all aware, these bodies must be autonomous in both their funds and their activities, but they must also be accountable. And this is where the work of independent constitutional bodies would help by promoting public institutions to deliver the human rights of our people. And so on this auspicious
Honorable. Yes, Honorable Kenneth Addo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also, in all humility, rise to add my voice to the maker of the statement. I use in humility because the Speaker is a humbling call that young men be given such responsibility to join the August House and to get the legislative arm of Ghana's government. The Speaker, Ghana has seen a lot of tremendous improvement when we talk about parliamentarianism. And today is a very solemn day and a very solemn statement that has been made. The maker of this statement talked about some rules of Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, we know that Parliament is a voice of the people. Parliamentarianism means that every individual in this country has a voice. It is also a mechanism for checks, particularly to state institutions and the executive. And Mr. Speaker, one of the most important topics that the statement talked about is the protection of human rights and human dignity. And in recent days, Parliament, in most cases, have risen to the occasion where we've seen bills that have been passed to enhance women's participation in leadership and governance. We've seen laws that have been made to protect the vulnerable, to protect persons with disability, and so forth. However, Mr. Speaker, it's important to note that as we celebrate or mark this day, we must remind ourselves of the solemn pledge and the loyalty to the state as parliamentarians. Mr. Speaker, it's important to know that differences in ideologies is not fight. Parliament is an institution of debate, vigorous ones. But those debates must not turn into insults and animosity. Mr. Speaker, parliamentarianism is a protection of the rights of the people and must not be an extension of the executive. As young parliamentarians, sometimes we sit here as we play our oversight role. Does not mean that critiquing and making sure that the right things are done means that we do not love this country or the executive. Parliament must remain true to its core and make sure that Parliament does not become an extension of the executive. Else, we are doomed. Mr. Speaker, one of the statements talked about the repeal of the criminal libel law. But Mr. Speaker, we have seen so many occurrences and events in recent times where free speech and freedom of speech is being criminalized. And this is where, as parliamentarians, we must stand and speak for people. Mr. Speaker, we made the laws. And so whoever feels that somebody's speech is offensive has the avenue. And it's important that as parliamentarians, we are able to express ourselves freely in this chamber. It should be the same thing that we should extend to our citizens. Even though, yes, somebody's freedom is another person's duty. It's important that freedom of speech, and as we celebrate and talking about the key theme for this is the protection of human rights, it's important that this will remind us that in this country, never should we go back to the criminalization of freedom of speech. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge all parliamentarians, no matter the divide, no matter the disagreement, one thing that we must all come together and make sure that we protect against all forms of intimidation or criminalization is the freedom of speech and the freedom that is vested by the Constitution to the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I therefore commend the maker of this statement. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Fifi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the maker of the statement and say that Parliament is the heart of our democracy. And I want to use this occasion to congratulate the good people of Ghana for adopting democracy, for accepting that democracy is the good way to go. I would also want to congratulate and commend all previous leaders who have been chronologically enumerated in the statement, but mostly, Mr. Speaker, to commend His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, who at that time in 1992, either a state accepts democracy and configurates or decides to go undemocratic and disintegrate. He had the opportunity to say no to democracy, but he decided to boldly accept democracy and push democracy for Ghanaians to accept, and has brought us this far. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about parliamentary democracy, we are looking at where the good people, the citizenry in the state, participate, sacrificing their sovereignty into some elected persons to stand for them. Mr. Speaker, without parliament, without democracy, we are going to be in that state of the Hobbesian state, where life is brutish, where life is nasty, and where life is short. The reason why, Mr. Speaker, we need to commend Ghanaians and ourselves for adopting democracy, especially parliamentary democracy, and moving on, is that, as has already been stated, Parliament is the institution that speaks for the people. Parliament is the institution that represents the people. It is Parliament that ensures that human rights, as enshrined in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the preamble of the 1992 Constitution, the 4th paragraph, it talks about, after talking about we the people of Ghana in giving blah 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 to ourselves, it talks about the fact that Mr. Speaker, it says, in the exercise of our natural rigor, the last paragraph, which is very important, the protection and preservation of fundamental human rights and freedoms, unity and stability of our nation. Mr. Speaker, this human rights aspect of it is the basis of leadership, is the basis of governance. We all sacrifice our sovereignty, we are in leadership, so that leadership would ensure that we benefit from it. It's a social contract. The giver and the givee, all of us, that is the trustee and the trustor, we all become beneficiaries of the sovereignty. So, Mr. Speaker, even as we celebrate, we should remind ourselves, as is called upon by all members, that we need to do everything possible to make sure that our democracy thrives, our democracy is sustained, so that the people who elected us, the people who sacrificed their sovereignty and stood and voted for us, would have the benefit of same. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I would want to say happy International Parliamentary Day to all of us, to Ghanaians, to our former leadership, to our current leadership, and to all of us. Let us continue to hold our democracy up high, because that is the best way to go in a civilized society. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Abudinapo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the very insightful statement made by the Member of Parliament, Peter Tobo, Mr. Speaker, and to say that he's really done a comprehensive work in terms of parliamentary democracy. Mr. Speaker, I think it is fitting for us to pay tribute to those and honor to those who fought for the 4th Republican dispensation. And it is indeed, Mr. Speaker, fitting to pay glowing tribute to the first president of this 4th Republic, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, who was the first president who birthed the 4th Republic. Mr. Speaker, in so saying, I think it's also important to pay tribute to the first Speaker of the first Parliament of our Republic, Right Honorable Justice D.F. Annan, who plays such a significant role as well. Mr. Speaker, the foundational members of Parliament of the 4th Republican dispensation, particularly the first and second Parliament across board, ought to be commended and saluted. And of course, Mr. Speaker, if you take a look at the Hansard of this House, you cannot escape but salute, indeed, the 5th President of our Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who was a stalwart of parliamentary jurisprudence. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu should be mentioned as well. And Mr. Speaker, I dare say that even if he came to, if I may put it this way, current generational parliamentary leadership and contribution, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu cannot be left out in terms of the jurisprudence of this House and his advocacy, and indeed his sheer intellect on the floor of this House. That also should be put on record. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the maker of the statement when he says that Parliament is indeed the vanguard of human rights in terms of promulgating laws which will protect the rights of citizens. The very essence of parliamentary history and the foundation of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, is indeed anchored on the protection of human rights, and by that,
I refer to the Magna Carta of 1215 under King John, when indeed, Mr. Speaker, the barons, the lords, and the leadership of religion and other leaders of Great Britain, Mr. Speaker, came together to insist that King John signed to the Magna Carta to protect the rights of citizens, and that indeed metamorphosized into the king requiring approval from Parliament for taxation. Mr. Speaker, that is being the foundation of Parliament. That's why we've had the long Parliament, the short Parliament, and that indeed is why the British Parliament is sometimes referred to as the mother of all Parliament. But it's always important for us to point out that Parliament indeed enacts laws to protect the rights of citizens. But the enforcement of those rights, Mr. Speaker, as can be found and anchored on our 1992 Constitution, specifically Chapter 5 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, is the duty of the judiciary. But it is correct that Parliament ought to enact laws to protect the rights of citizens. Mr. Speaker, the independence of Parliament is absolutely important as a distinct, independent, authoritative arm of the state. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, if you went to the Congress of the United States, for example, even the making of the national budget is mostly within the preserve of Congress. And I believe that this House should strive to the day when Parliament will be responsible for the making of the national constitution and not just the approval of it. And in terms of ensuring that Parliament is at the center of the governance of our country. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude by saying that parliamentary oversight of the executive is absolutely important. And it's not an easy task because it's a fine line and it's a delicate balance that we work on. And it's important that if this House is going to be a House fit for purpose and serve the people, this House must exercise proper oversight. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I commend the maker of the statement and say that parliamentary independence, parliamentary oversight over the executive, and the celebration of the forebears of the Fourth Republic in terms of parliamentary democracy is one that we should all uphold on a non-partisan basis. With these words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Yes, minority leadership. The available leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute from our side on the International Day of Parliamentarism. Mr. Speaker, we all know that democracies did not just start overnight. They've started and evolved over a period of time. The concept of justice have all evolved over a period of time. And we all know that in Ghana, even our chieftaincy system, as you may call democracy as a kabi mamin kabi, clearly shows that Ghana has evolved. If we take our monarchies and their system of governance, anytime we go to a chief's palace and there's an issue to be discussed, virtually every member of the institution is given the opportunity to speak before the decision to be taken are taken by maybe the king or a chief or a Odikro. Mr. Speaker, in our house here, before you give direction for a vote, you virtually listen to all of us. And when you believe that there's been consensus, you ask that will put you to a vote. And if there's no consensus, you ask more people to contribute to see where the direction of the House is going. Mr. Speaker, without parliaments, democracies don't exist. In the modern world, virtually everywhere, the capitalist states, the Marxists, the socialist states, they all have some form of democracy. In fact, if you go to China, where people think that it is not even a democracy, you realize that it is really a democracy. You have different parties being represented by different groups of and shades of opinion. Mr. Speaker, as you know, Chapter 5 of our own Constitution, which strategizes on human rights, have been put in there to make sure that our democracy can survive, because without human rights, dignity, naturally our states and our people cannot look to some future that is brighter. But like I've always said, democracy is not only about politics. It is also about the dividends that our people get from the democracy that we practice. In Ghana, because of our evolution, everybody looks up to parliament and parliamentarians to deliver the goods and the dividends in their small communities and to themselves. And therefore, our work here in working on the oversight, protecting the peace of the country, is something that is expected of all parliamentarians in our country. And therefore, I believe that it is important that as we celebrate the International Day of the Parliamentarian, we safeguard also the rights of MPs and the welfare of MPs as well. If you're able to do it well for MPs, naturally we should be able to do it well for our assemblies and our assemblymen. We should be able to do it well for our unit committees so that they can continue to protect the democratic dividends that our people are be yearning for. Mr. Speaker, I've said it and said again in this country that most of the time, some of the discussions that we do here in this chamber is about expenditures. I think that it is time we recenter on revenue generation, employment, entrepreneurship, things that can position our people from living a dignified life. Mr. Speaker, when people go to school and they can't get a job to do, they can't work for themselves, what have we done? When people work in poor conditions, what have we done as MPs? So I believe that as MPs, we need to protect the interests of our people. As MPs, we need to speak and force for our people. And as MPs, we make sure that as the Constitution stipulates, this country is developed evenly across all the regions. And for that matter, I believe that it is time that even the budget of this country should now be relooked at in creating proper quotas for each region before we just share the rest. Otherwise, those who control the money would always be taking so much from the regions and keeping them in Accra. And I believe that has been one of our major underdevelopments. And that is why our people are always crying that they are not getting the democratic dividends that we need to get in each and every part of this country. With this, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to this.
Yes, majority.
Speaker, may I yield?
I know you are yielding to Honorable Haruna.
That is so, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank the whip for his graciousness and for your indulgence, and to use the opportunity to thank the Honorable Peter Tobu for bringing this important statement on the observation of the International Day of Parliamentarians. Mr. Speaker, which emphasizes and is waking us up that what does Parliament do, and what should Parliament do, and what should Ghana's Parliament do? Mr. Speaker, without any shred of doubt, Ghana remains a beacon of a democracy, and we are admired by many, particularly in Africa. Let's not take that for granted. From 1993 to yesterday, Mr. Speaker, Ghana has built viable, resilient democratic institutions, and the three co-equal organs of state are all functioning and functioning very well, be it parliament, be it the judiciary, the legislature, or be it the executive. And Mr. Speaker, Parliament is a guardian of the Constitution. That's why the expectation is that we, the representatives of the people, would at all times take decisions that preserve the Constitution. So that's why Parliament can remind the President as an executive or a minister that don't ever abandon your oath. Your oath was that you swore to uphold the Constitution of Ghana and the laws of Ghana. So when we find excesses in the exercise of executive authority, we expect Parliament to stand up to be able to do that. Mr. Speaker, commendable. Ghana has done very, very well. And I want to come to the matter of freedom of expression. And I assure our colleagues that Ghana remains a stable democracy where the rule of law under President John Dramani Mahama is guaranteed in full and absolute. There is no Ghanaian who is operating outside the confines of all the three core principles of the rule of law. We are a democracy governed by rule of law. Right, yes, you have right. That is why you are not treated as if we were what you were in 1991 or 92. Yes, Ghana was not a democracy. You had an autocratic, authoritarian regime. But as parliament, we have a duty to preserve the fundamental freedoms and rights of citizens, not just that of members of parliament. And we have lived up to that expectation. Mr. Speaker, the other significant thing is parliament has been responsive to the public needs and public opinion. Mr. Speaker, this parliament is responsive to the needs of the public. A week ago, we were united in this house, standing firm behind the Black Stars, because we think that they are the pride of our country at the USA-Mexico World Cup. We're united. It means we are responding to the public needs. What sometimes the public find us wanting is, yes, you are supporting Black Stars. Then you hear the next day that they don't have sufficient money. Then questions will be asked, what did Parliament do to support the Black Stars financially in your exercise of financial oversight? Mr. Speaker, that brings me to the other issue of how responsive Parliament has been. Yesterday, the country witnessed a tragedy of floods. What the Ghanaian people expect this Parliament to do, November, December, is to ensure that in the allocation of budgetary resources, we make adequate provision to deal with the flood. If you didn't resolve it in 8 years, why do you expect it to be resolved in 2 years? But let's not politicize it. Let's not politicize it. But is Parliament being responsive to the needs of the Ghanaian people? And the Ghanaian people are saying that save us from floods, maybe build better housing facilities for us. We must support that. That public servants have access to adequate shelter, reasonable shelter. So when in November, December, Parliament passes budget and you don't make provisions adequately for the Minister for Works and Housing, then it means this Parliament is failing. This. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude by freedom of expression. Mr. Speaker, today, since 1993, no government, and I think that is Ghana, freedom of expression is best expressed both in the chamber here. Members are guaranteed freedom of expression. The number of FM stations in Ghana today, commercial, is 569 commercial FM stations. Community radio stations, 159. Public radio stations, 31. Foreign stations, 4. Universities, 24. Television stations, 125. To borrow the honorable member for Takrady, this is giving meaning to Kabinamin Kabi. If I borrow his words, Kabinamin Kabi.
Honorable Minister, you may take 1 minute to conclude. 1 minute to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, then finally, this Parliament. The Parliament of Ghana is not sovereign. That's why this Parliament holds a calabash begging a Minister for Finance for funding for this Parliament. That should not happen. We should create and strengthen an independent and autonomous Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, I conclude by assuring my colleagues that President Mahama will, through his Attorney General, lead the most far-reaching, comprehensive review of the 1992 Constitution. He will. He is taking your notes, the report of your chairman's committee, together with the Fiancu committee, and he will, President Mahama will, through the Attorney General, lead this country through, I repeat, the most far-reaching administrative, legal, and constitutional review that will guarantee transparency and accountability to the people of Ghana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, statement time has ended. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, we want to pray that we bring today's proceedings to a close and return tomorrow to continue at midday, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, it's 3:46. We haven't done 5 hours. And so, Speaker, on that note, I move that the House be adjourned until tomorrow midday for us to return to continue with business. I thank you.
Yes.
Speaker, you can see clearly that this government is not working. Speaker, instead of the president visiting flood victims, he's in a helicopter up high there, drinking tea. Speaker, to the extent.
Honorable Jerry
Speaker,
Ahmed,
you didn't hear that.
motion has been moved.
Speaker,
are you going to second the motion?
Yes, Speaker, I'm seconding the motion. Speaker, I actually withdraw. Speaker, I withdraw.
And
Speaker,
is ordered to be expunged from the record
Very well,
as if
Speaker.
it does not exist.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, we have flood victims. And Speaker, we
Yesterday,
need...
there was a full statement on the issue.
Yes.
Will you second the motion?
Speaker.
If not, can you resume your seat? Let
Speaker,
another
I'm
person
going to second the motion, but as a leader, Speaker, you should just give me this opportunity.
Honorable Jerry Ahmed, will you second the motion?
Speaker, I will second the motion, but I have something to say.
There is no condition to secondment of the motion. Kindly resume your seat.
Speaker.
Please resume your seat.
Speaker.
Please resume your seat.
Very well.
Is anybody ready to second the motion? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Very well. Motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. Please, the ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned till Thursday, 2nd July 2026 at 12 noon.